Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy CEO Anthony and my main man Price Ward. Thank you for not choking, Dan. I know you wasn't anticipating me starting, Dan.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's fine
What's,
now. I'm always good to go, man.
what's going on, my man?
Just glad to be here after taking last week off. We had a lot going on, a little worn out, but glad to be here as always.
So we got some shit to get into today. Um, we're going to start in the Western Conference. Looking at the Western Conference playoff series, there's I would say two surprises right now. Minnesota being up 2-1 over the Lakers, and then the Golden State Warriors being up 2-1 over the Rockets. What do you think about those two series so far?
Um, the West was interesting. I mean, the West for me was hard to pick this year because on on paper, the Lakers are a bigger question mark to me than a sure good team or bad team, only because of the limited amount of time that Luka has been there. So, to be honest, unless they got like swept or something, I don't think I would be too surprised with what was going on with the Lakers because they have a high ceiling with Luka. It's just a matter of getting everything figured out, I guess, in my eyes. So nothing with the Lakers really surprises me. Also, I mean, Ant was in the it was the conference finals last year when they lost to Luca, right?
Oh
In
God, yeah,
Dallas.
it was
Yeah,
conference. Yeah.
it's not necessarily surprising to me because Minnesota's been building up that experience and they made it pretty far last year. The Lakers, like I said, are a bit up in the air because of the impact of that trade so late. Not to say Luca pulls the team down, just say continuity, experience, of playing together, all those things come into play. So I just wasn't exactly sure what to expect out of the Lakers, even though they were playing better to end the season for sure, or since the trade it seemed like. So no, it's not necessarily surprising to me that Minnesota's up. I do think LA evens that series up, though. I don't think Minnesota's going to run away with that. And so, so the Rockets are up 2-1 on Golden State, so that
No,
they
no, no,
didn't
no,
tie it.
no.
They
Golden
didn't.
State's up 2-1.
Oh, okay, okay. That doesn't surprise me either because I don't care. It's like the same thing with OKC, and I know OKC swept Memphis, but Memphis isn't like some established good team right now. They've had their ups and downs. See, but the Rockets are another example of like a young team who are leading their conference, and young teams can have great regular seasons and be a great team. But I think to come out of certain playoff series, whether it's the first round or a later round, I think you have to build up that experience, whether you have veterans on your team or not. I think you have to learn, especially if your stars or your better young play or your better players on the team are the young guys who haven't been through these experiences before. I feel like they have to in order to make it farther. So Houston, I would not be surprised for Houston to lose the series against Golden State. I would never have picked against Golden State. If I I wasn't here for the show, I don't think you guys picked the results or guessed the results for this first round. But I would have picked Golden State to come out of this series. So I'm not surprised. I think in time, Houston has the potential to be the better team, but it's just something, like I said, that they have to go through and learn. So, Golden State, they have Steph, they have Jimmy. It's hard for me to bet against that, to be honest with you. Golden State, it's not like they were floundering to end the season either. Like Golden State was playing pretty good ball. So no, neither one of these results right now are surprising to me. I am enjoying how good some of these games are, though, and how close the series seem to be outside the OKC series.
I think Minnesota was playing like trash for the majority. 3/4 of the season, Minnesota was playing like trash, and then they were in the play-in for the majority of the season, and then they turned it up the last few weeks of the regular season. So I'm still not buying them beating the Lakers in the first round. I'm just not. I'm not. As far as Houston, they missed a good chance yesterday to put clamps on the series because Jimmy Butler was actually out yesterday. And even though Houston was on the road, they should have won that game. So if they can still win Game 4, and then it shifts back to Houston, they can close Golden State out. Because again, this year it's every team against Golden State this year. I can't have Jimmy Butler in the finals. That's just me. Just saying. Okay.
I love the investment. I love when this random Golden State team, like you have stakes in one way or another. It's interesting.
It's everybody against. It's the other 15 teams against Golden State right now. I'm not even going to give the Thunder and the Grizzlies any time. I'm just not. So the 4-5 matchup, the Nuggets and the Clippers are tied 2 games apiece. Aaron Gordon won the game yesterday with that ridiculous ass catch dunk with like 0.1 seconds.
It came out of his hands like at the very last moment that it could have. I was watching the end of the game and I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe what happened. It was awesome.
It was awesome and ridiculous. But we knew this series was going to be close. So they're tied 2-2 right now. The Nuggets
and Westbrook didn't play. Why? What happened to Westbrook?
I have to look into that. I didn't see it. The Nuggets still have home court. You're at 2-2. Who do you think comes out of this series?
I think it's Denver.
Okay.
I think it's Denver. I've been picking Denver. I don't know if Denver can make it as far as I originally thought they might. But I really Denver has been like one of my strong picks since they've won the championship. And I'm kind of waiting for them to get some of that spark back. And I think Denver wins the series.
They're not getting the championship again. I'll tell you that. They may have a deep playoff run.
I agree with you on that. But I don't know how to say it. It's just my instinct says Denver. I mean, we are talking about the Clippers with Kawhi and James Harden. Not that they haven't been playing really good. I'm just saying odds have been on the side of something happening to the Clippers. Okay, that's all I'm saying. They could still win. I'm just saying usually something happens to one of those guys or the Clippers in general. So right now I'm gonna go with I'm still going with Denver.
All right, so we're gonna shift over to the Eastern Conference. And before we talk about your team, all I'm gonna say is this, okay? As wrong as I was about my series, I am extremely confident about your series. Okay, so let me just say that
for everybody out there. Cam loves to be right, and when he's not right, he will pivot quickly to a different topic. Okay.
Okay.
He was wrong about the Butler situation in Miami, and now he wants Butler nowhere near him or on his TV or having success. So he's pivoted quickly from Jimmy Butler.
So again, I just want it over. Just lay down. Game 4. Just lay down. Just lay the fuck down. Blow it up. I just want it over. This season has been absolutely miserable for me. Yeah. So with that said,
let me ask you a quick question. Would you rather it be like how it is right now, on the verge of some big moves coming, or would you rather go back and relive that Boston series that made you want to quit basketball?
No, I would prefer this because that team had a shot to win it all. That against Boston, which we're going to get into that. I want everybody off that fucking team. I don't care. Everybody gone. I want just a complete fucking rebuild. I don't care.
Bam too?
Bam to it.
You've always held on to Bam.
Everybody going. I want a fucking clean slate. Um, it's gonna be some rough years, but we'll get through it. You know what I'm saying?
I get the feeling though. I get the sentiment because you have a bit of a ceiling with this team, and
Yes.
you've seen this team for like I don't know how long now since Tyler came into the league. I mean, you've had this team for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
so I get the feeling of it's like it's time for a new start.
Yeah,
I
I'm
get
done.
that.
I'm absolutely done. So one thing I do want to talk about, and this is not me tooting my own horn or whatnot, but I don't understand how people can watch basketball who say they watch basketball and not see the flaws with the Boston Celtics. I don't get it. Now, we know the Celtics won a championship last year. We know that Jimmy Butler didn't play in the playoff series against the Miami Heat in the first round. Who was their second round opponent? Oh my goodness, it's leaving me.
Cleveland.
Tyrese Cleveland. Mitchell was in and out of that series.
Ain't no Jarrett
Conference
Allen.
got the conference finals. They played against Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton was in and out of that series. They did beat Dallas, who at that time was the hottest league and the hottest team in the league at that time. So I will give them that. And I'm not taking anything away from their championship because they are the current NBA champions until someone beats them. But the reality is, we haven't seen anyone push the Boston Celtics since the last team that beat them, which was the Miami Heat. So I've seen Boston a lot. You know, me and you talk about this a lot. Fans might not hear it a lot. I've seen Boston a lot. I know everything Boston runs. I know all of their flaws. So when I saw you guys match up with them, one, the last 2 to 3 regular seasons, you guys have been beating Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Two, as I've always said, Boston is front runners. You put a little pressure on them, they seem to crack. So watching game one, yeah, Boston won game one. Okay. Watching game one, and they won again, but then seeing them complain about the physicality of the Orlando Magic after a game that you won, it just really threw. I'm not gonna say it threw me off, but it's just like I know who they were, but I want everyone else to really pay attention to how weak and soft this team is. What's your thoughts on that so far? On them complaining, let's start there.
I have a lot of thoughts on this.
Let's go. Shoot.
I think, okay, to answer your first question, no, I don't think, I think basketball is popular, and I think there's a lot of fans who watch clips and follow stats.
Right.
And I also think the Celtics, like the Lakers, have a lot of bandwagon fans. As historical teams with lots of championships have, not uncommon, but I think Boston gets a lot of praise for their offense, and defense. Analytically, yes, they play tight basketball. They're one of the best built teams in the league. They have shot makers, they have ball handlers, they have everything they need. But there's an element to this game, to like most things, where it doesn't matter how good you are, if someone can get in your head or make you uncomfortable, that's how you beat certain people. That it's part of like the legacy of MJ. Everybody was scared of MJ. Nobody was the last team to try to come out and like make Jordan like that. And that uncomfortable and really get in his head was Detroit, which is who MJ had to overcome in his early years to get to where he started building his legacy. So what's interesting to me is for how good Boston's supposed to be and how much success they've had. This is playoff basketball. You're the defending champs. These are the types of shots every team should be taking at you. It shouldn't be super uncommon to be facing this kind of physicality in the playoffs. And on top of it, everybody knows the brand of basketball and defense the Magic play. Everybody. And I saw a couple things this morning that made me think about this situation as well. Is the Magic are missing Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner. Do you realize how much more physical this series could be
Hmm.
if those two were playing? Because Suggs is a ball hawk, and Mo loves to bang with the other guy's big man and get in their ear. This series would be all over the place if those two were playing. And honestly, the Magic, after what we've seen, I think would have a legit shot at coming out of the series, which I know you already believe they can. I think it could go 6 or 7 games. I still think Boston just has a bit too much firepower for us to overcome. But that's also me trying to kind of live in the moment, and I don't expect a lot of young teams to win to win playoff series. So, yeah, if the Magic came out of the series, nothing would make me happier. I just was kind of preparing myself for another lesson. That's all. But either way, despite the outcomes, I saw a thing that a Boston fan on Twitter, Boston account, they're comparing Magic fans were trying to become Heat fans. They said.
What?
Listen, and our buddy Cortez said, Magic fans hate the Heat. However, because of this series, we now completely understand how the Heat feel about Boston. Because, like you said, you guys have seen a lot of Boston, and you have to deal what more than most have had to deal with the shenanigans of Boston. One, they complain about the physicality while doing the same type of shit, but hiding behind the pretty boy image and the reputation of their team. They hide behind it. Paolo didn't have the crack on his head that Porzingis did, mind you, but game one, Paolo had a cut on his head too. Okay, through 75% of game two, we couldn't breathe on a Boston player without getting called for a foul. They didn't start calling fouls more appropriately until the fourth quarter. It was like a light switch. And if anybody watching that game, not just clips, would be able to tell you that. So they hear these Boston, and then Porzingis, there's a picture of Porzingis' whole hand covering Paolo's face from game three. So I don't want to hear. I've been watching these games. I haven't missed a minute. I don't want to hear these Boston fans calling us dirty or anything like that, or too physical, or that we're not playing basketball. That's bullshit. Y'all are soft. If you're gonna lose, it's gonna be because you can be punked. And I'll tell you something. Game three wasn't even a perfect game for the Magic. That's what kind of gives me hope. Paolo and Franz have been playing great, but they've been playing great the whole series. It's the surrounding crew around those two guys for the Magic. And a couple of them had slightly better games, but still there was no standout third guy. It was in this third game. So I don't even think the Celtics got our best shot in the words of Jaylen Brown from game one. They took our best shot game one. I'd like to hear what he has to say about that now. But that wasn't even Orlando's best game that we could have played, and we were still able to come out with that win. So it gave me a lot of confidence in this series. I'm sure it gave the Magic a ton of confidence, and I really won't be surprised if the series goes the same way it did against Cleveland last year, where Orlando wins all their home games, but we lose Game 7 maybe in Boston. I will say this, though. Orlando plays better in Boston than we've played against Cleveland in Cleveland. And I know Boston is a different animal than Cleveland, but the way that we play Boston, I think you were right with your general assessment to where Orlando has all the tangibles that it takes to make them uncomfortable. And if we can make them uncomfortable enough and play our style of basketball, we have a really good shot to at least make this series competitive. Whereas before, most people were picking us to win a game, maybe two at the very most. A lot of people thought the Magic would get swept. So that's definitely not happening now. I think the Orlando has tons of confidence to come out and win game two. And if they win game two, it's going to change the way people have to talk about this series. And for all the complaints about the physicality, Boston fans can shut their fucking mouths because they're just as physical and dirty at times. I don't want to hear it. The refs have your back too, so if you lose, you only have yourselves to blame. Good luck.
Is the second home game today or is it tomorrow?
It's today at like 8 or 8:30 in Orlando.
Okay. I try to watch it all. Let me. There's two things I want to talk about, and you touched on one of them. Why did they say Magic fans are like Heat fans? Like what? Why did they say that again?
Because we're trying to say the same things about the about Boston that you guys have because we're seeing it now that we're playing it. So we're just saying the same types of things that Heat fans say about them. That's all. We're saying they're soft. We're saying that we can punk them, and they're just saying we're saying the same things you guys are. But they're instead of denying that or owning up to it, they think it's a non-factor. I guess they forgot that you guys were able to beat them a few seasons ago. So,
Well, yeah, and let me. Well, not only a few. I mean, we beat them a few times in the playoffs. Let me. The Cleveland series last year, I think, will actually be the reason why the Magic are going to beat Boston this year. Okay, I look. You need to put this shit in the time capsule because I'm not going to be throwing this much praise on the Magic next season. But from a basketball standpoint, that hurt that Orlando suffered last year, especially blowing that lead in the second half in Cleveland, by the way. If Boston, well, not if, when the Magic pushes Boston to a 7-game one, Boston's going to freeze. Because let's go back to Miami. The last time we beat Boston 2 years ago in the conference finals, Game 7 was where?
in Boston.
Exactly. And Miami went up there and destroyed them. Absolute. Like in the first 5 minutes, we had a 20-point lead and we never looked back. So the it's for the Boston fans, the ambiance around, oh, we're gonna have Game 7 at home. How's that been working for y'all lately? Okay. I'm telling you. If y'all push Boston to Game 7, it's a wrap. Orlando's gonna win. It is an absolute. I've never been so confident in anything this wacky ass season, then I'm confident in that. So we're gonna shift gears a little bit to my favorite team, the Milwaukee Bucks. Who are that? They did win Game 3 at home, but usually everyone wins Game 3 at home outside of Miami. Okay, so 36-point loss. Like what the fuck, y'all?
I looked up the score like in the third quarter, and I went, ooh. I was like, I know Cam's down bad right now.
That's why I'm drinking water this morning. I gotta get another bottle today, okay? So, Indiana, Milwaukee. Indiana's up 2-1. I haven't seen anything from Milwaukee to show me that Milwaukee's going to win this series. I just think Indiana's just had too much juice right now. If Milwaukee suffers a first-round exit again, what do you think happens with Giannis and Dame?
I think the whole Milwaukee team gets traded to the Heat. And y'all just switch. I think y'all just switch teams.
I'm for it. I'm absolutely for it.
I know you guys are like Bobby Portis Jr. and Kuzma.
We tried to get him. We tried to get him before.
Y'all tried to get a lot of players. We could do that with half the league.
Because we can. Because
yes.
we can.
Yes. It is from an angle or a stage of privilege that you guys are in these talks. It's not because of any other reason. So yes, you are right. It's because you guys can get players.
We have earned that right.
Yeah.
So, but you think Milwaukee finally blows it up if they suffer another first round?
I think they have a discussion with Giannis and Dame, and I think they do their best at convincing them to stay based on doing whatever other moves they think they should do around them. Does that mean Dame won't leave, and then in turn Giannis will want out? I can't say no to that. I won't say no to that at all. I think Milwaukee will try to convince them that they'll make moves for them. So
that's done. They've been doing that. Dame was supposed to be the final piece.
I know. I'm just saying. no way Milwaukee doesn't make an attempt. So I don't know what that pitch will look like or sound like. But to say Milwaukee can convince them, I don't see. I don't think is outside the realm of possibility. And then both walking, I don't think is outside the realm, or not walking, but you know what I mean, because it's not signing, it's not a contract signing. So, they started making some of these more, I guess, quick moves in the last few seasons when they got hints the first time that Giannis might want out. Remember, we thought they were making moves, reactionary moves to that idea. A couple of seasons back, we were talking about that. So I think they're very much still in that headspace because of the lack of success they've had. I could see this going. It's honestly like a coin flip. I won't be surprised if Dame is gone, and then they still convince Giannis to stay with some other moves. Like, who knows?
I think that ship is sailed. I don't think it's anything outside of LeBron or Luka. I don't think it's anyone that the Milwaukee Bucks can bring to play with Giannis at this point. Like, if he, I'm trying to word it right, forgive me. Losing in the playoffs isn't bad. You're a good team if you make the playoffs every year. But the number of L's he's taken in the first round lately, okay, yes, they won the championship. They did. But the number of L's that he's taken in the first round is ridiculous. He's too great for that. He's an MVP candidate every year. He needs to demand more from that team. And I don't think they can deliver. They've hit the wall. They can't deliver anything else. Kyle Kuzma, who's never won, well, he's won a championship, but never led his team to do anything in his life. No. He ain't it. Dame's not it. So, I just think that this is the end of the road for this Milwaukee Bucks team, and it's ironic because it's the end of the road for this Miami Heat team, so that's ironic. Our last matchup in the East, the Knicks and Pistons.
Real quick. So you think the Heat are going to go after Durant, Lillard, and Giannis?
I don't want Durant on the team. No, Giannis and Dame. We got you, bro. We got you. Come on.
Y'all are gonna get Durant finally.
I'll tell you, I don't want Durant.
You're gonna get Durant finally.
I don't want Durant.
That's why you're gonna finally get him.
Fuck you. You know what? The only way I'll take Durant is if they give us Booker too, which I know would not happen. Okay, I'm just saying. So New York and Pistons. The New York Knicks.
Booker doesn't need to be in Miami. All right.
Yes, he does.
You'll never win a championship.
He'll be hella distracted.
Yeah.
He'll blend in well down there.
Look, you're getting distracted in Phoenix. Get out of here.
Oh yeah. New York's like, when are you guys gonna talk about us? All right, here we go. New York and Detroit. New York's up 2-1. We knew this series was gonna be tough. Every game has been a fucking war. Where do you think we stand right now? Do you think the Pistons have a shot like everyone has predicted, or do you think New York's going to move on in this series?
I would have picked Detroit as pretty much the only team in the first round that I thought was going to – well, the Pacers-Milwaukee series was a little more up in the air, but Detroit was one of the few teams I would have picked to maybe upset the Knicks. In the first round, in terms of teams that could upset, they were one of the teams I thought could do it. But I do think the Knicks are going to come out of the series. I don't know if it's 6 or 7 games. I think Detroit has taken a lot of steps this season, but their rise reminds me a bit of the Magic from last season. And like I've said a couple times already on this podcast, I think you have to go through steps of experience year by year. And so I don't think Detroit has quite the know-how to get out of this first round against a loaded Knicks team. So I won't be surprised if Detroit gets another game or two. But I do think the Knicks come out of this series, personally. But kudos to Detroit, man, for their season. I mean, it's not like Cade has a ton of haters, but he's had one reason or another, a lot of injury, bad luck, to where, some of his seasons haven't quite gone the way he would hope. I would say, and he had a phenomenal season. He's getting tons of love. Detroit, they brought in the new coach. They brought in a couple vets. Cade Cunningham being healthy, the way they've been playing D, the youth that's on that team, they remind me a lot of what we saw from the rise of the Magic last season. But I do think the Knicks have what they need to come out of the series. So no, I don't think Detroit's going to come back. I think they could still get another game, maybe to push it to 7 games, but my money would still be on the Knicks to come out of this.
Got it. So this time next week, should we not have any surprises, a lot of these series are going to be wrapped up. For example, Miami's going to be in Cancun next week. So we'll do our second round predictions next. There will be probably a couple of games played in the second round by the time we record, maybe starting Friday or Saturday. But next week we'll go deeper into our second round analysis out there. So
okay, he's going to get a ton of time off.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are, because that series could very well go 7. So OKC may have like a week off. Shit. One last thing I want to say before we wrap it up. Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies were supposed to be in the position that the OKC Thunder are in right now. Okay, before the wheels just completely fell off of that franchise a few years ago. They got cocky, they got arrogant, the basketball god stepped in, foolishness with Ja. It just, everything went wrong. Not coach got fired.
Go the way their stars go. And unfortunately, Ja had to walk away from the game for a while.
Yeah. There's a lot of rumors out there, a lot of talk that Memphis may move on from Ja Morant. Do you think they should rebuild around him? Because this team's trash. This team's trash right now. Do you think they should rebuild around Ja, or just do a complete rebuild without Ja?
Everyone, Ja, JJJ, everybody needs to be gone.
Wow. Well, yeah. It's just ironic that they got swept by the team that really kind of took their spot. So it's just like
their foundation isn't good enough right now to build around. And it's kind of like, unfortunately, with the timing of it all, of Ja's suspension and things like that, it wasn't like at the beginning of a new experiment. It was kind of like you need to see results around the time you started seeing this team flounder. They went the other way with it. So I don't know though, because I don't watch a ton of Memphis ball, so I'm not as plugged in with that fan base. It may be you trade everybody but Ja. I don't think it would be the type of reaction that Nico got from trading Luka, because you're talking about a guy who just took you to the finals as well. You're talking about different circumstances for why Luka might miss a game, or might miss time. It wasn't because of suspension, but I don't know for sure how that fan base would feel about trading Ja. All I know is that from an outsider's perspective, I don't know if Ja's the type of guy that you can build a contender around. And if there's question about that, then you should use Ja as a piece to get something else and go with a different team building philosophy than what they have now. Because, I mean, their ceiling's not much higher than what they just hit. So it's like, how long do you want to sit? How long do you want to sit in that little window where you kind of make the playoffs, but then you get blown out round 1? You know,
Right.
that's a tough spot to be in, because you're not hitting in the draft and you're not making it far enough to be a real threat. So it's a real tough spot to be in. Usually, it's a matter of when, not if. And usually, teams can be trapped into holding on to that situation for longer than they need to be. Kind of look at Chicago. How long has Chicago been just middle of the pack with nothing to show for it?
Years now.
Yeah, so it's like unless you want to be in that situation for like a decade, it's like it's best to just rip that band-aid off and to try something different. That's my opinion. I don't know how the
Yeah.
fan base would feel about trading Ja, but off the top of my head, that's what I would do.
In the sense of being fair, which we always are, and we covered this years ago, a court case was dismissed on Ja's behalf when he punched the kid at the pickup game.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid was trying to sue him, so the judge cited that Ja Morant was defending himself, so that case has been dropped. So that was one of the things that popped up before the gun issue, but that was one of the things that popped up that kind of upset people with Ja. So with that being said, please like, subscribe, and share our content. Drop comments below. Everyone stay safe, and we are out. Outie!